Welcome back to the Sounds of Harlem. Our next honoree, Eddie Palmieri, is one of Latin music's most charismatic artists. His fiery sound combines improvisation and harmonic sophistication with an unstoppable groove. He's led Latin jazz and dance bands for the past 40 years, does not seem to be slowing down. Here with more on Eddie Palmieri is pianist, composer, educator, and television host, the Doctor of Jazz. Please welcome Billy Taylor.
When Eddie first started banging on drums, his parents probably never imagined his son would go on to win the very first Grammy ever given in the Latin music category. But to those who knew his music, it was no surprise. Here is Eddie Palmieri's story.
Born in 1936, this spirited son of Spanish Harlem has always moved to a different beat. From a very young age, Eddie's passion was the poetry of music. First percussion, and soon after the piano. His unique style emerged playing alongside his greatest musical hero, his brother Charlie. And before he turned 30, Eddie Palmieri unleashed a sound that would make him a phenomenon.
We saw it all, you know, at that time period of the craze of the mambo and the Palladium days and everything. Then he took off from there.
Eddie's first band, La Perfecta, brought a new, hard-hitting sound to the 1960s New York City dance scene.
He was really the first that established, two trombone and a flute sound with the rhythm section. And that La Perfecta sound created a tremendous love for the dancers.
As a solo artist, Palmieri merged the beat of the African drum with the mambo swing.
He was obsessed, and he's still obsessed, with Afro-Cuban rhythms.
The essence of our music is the talking drum, which is the pulse of life.
Realities of the 60s and 70s were reflected in his lyrics. He wrote songs about life on the streets of El Barrio.
My father changed the political and social upheaval that was happening in civil rights and the social commentary about what was happening, about progress and poverty. On the piano, he becomes totally mesmerized. I just know that he becomes a man.
A student of music, Eddie graduated to a new sound, one that infused something new into his Afro-Cuban rhythms.
He can just take that rhythm and mix it with a little bit of jazz, a little bit of Latin jazz, and still be hard edge.
Eddie's musical family grew to include other masters like Dizzy Gillespie, Paul Simon, and his compadre Tito Puente. And in the recording studio, Eddie is a perfectionist.
He had his ideas, and he don't want nobody to tell him nothing, This is what it is. And then he's just saying it's good, too.
What an incredible talent. What an incredible talent. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome band leader, composer, arranger, and Grammy Award winner, Eddie Palmieri.
Oh, thank you so very much. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm standing right next to one of my mentors in the genre of jazz, the one and only Dr. Billy Taylor. I want to thank all the artists that have been awarded tonight, the orchestra that has played, the distinguished guests, and I am honored in the name of the Palmieris to receive this wonderful award tonight. Thank you very much. Salsa!
All right, thanks, gentlemen. Eddie Palmieri says our next honoree, Tito Puente, was his idol. Tito was warm, flamboyant, and oh so gifted. His music was like the man himself, loved by many. Now tonight we're lucky to have with us two longtime friends of the king of Latin music, a salsa great in his own right. He helped spice up salsa right alongside Tito Puente. Please say hello to Johnny Pacheco.
I want to start by saying that, will you believe Tito Puente, when he was a boy, he wanted to be a mambo dancer. Thank God he changed. But he left out incredible music. What would the world be without Barbara Batiri, Ran Can Can, and especially Oye Como Va? The man was a genius. Tito Puente, damas y caballeros, el rey Tito Puente.
People really like to look at him. You look at him and you get happy just to watch his face. He was a king on stage.
The undisputed king of the timbales, Tito Puente, was a world-famous musician, but Ernesto Antonio's heart never traveled far from the place that inspired it all.
I was very fortunate. I was born in Harlem, naturally, in Spanish Harlem.
In 1936, when he was only 13 years old, Tito Puente took his first step toward becoming the most beloved symbol of Latin jazz. By the time he was in his 20s, the professional drummer who loved to dance was a respected arranger, percussionist, and band leader.
Tito was a great musician. He was a great composer. He was an arranger. He played the vibraphone very well.
Tito brought the instrument of his heart, the timbales, to the dancers. He could always be seen playing them center stage, dancing along to the rhythmic beat. His incredible energy fueled the mambo craze.
He was a mambo king. This man, you know, he knew everything from hip-hop to bebop to jazz to Latin to African.
He was a guy who really put a lot of tunes together.
You know, that's a hard phrases. It's like, what are you singing about? Is it African? Is it Latin? And he's like, it's everything all wrapped up in one.
Get the best of the jazz big band and put the Latin rhythm together and made that kind of mix. And he was a great orchestrator.
Working in the studio with him was really amazing. He used to tell us, they call me one take Tito. So he'd go in, put on his headphones, test out the drum, the timbales, and blow the tape. And it was it. The man was all that. He's a genius.
Tito, the musician, was honored by presidents. Tito, the man, was honored by each person who listened to his music.
He was so humble, so down to earth, so real.
Months after accepting his 5th Grammy, El Rey put down his timbales a final time, passing away when he was 77. This ambassador of Spanish Harlem will always have a special place in music and in our hearts.
Accepting tonight's award in honor of Tito Puente is another old friend, Joe Cuba.
Oh, thank you very much. I'd like to say one thing, that I thank Almighty God that He put me on this earth at the same time as Tito Puente, because I learned so much from him. He was my idol, and I loved him. He was the one, the pioneer, who took all that music out of the ghettos, and I grabbed a hold of it and took it to the rest of the world. I'm very proud to have been born in Harlem. I'm very proud that he was a Harlemite, and Harlem is what we are. We take our culture from Harlem proud, and we take it all over the world. God bless all of you, and thank you.
Stay with us, everybody. We'll be right back.
cinematic images and rare artifacts alive with the spirit of African Americans, exhibits and photographs that embody Harlem and the history it proudly owns. The center's story begins in 1891 when founder Arturo Schomburg, a history lover of African descent, immigrated from Puerto Rico to New York City's Lower East Side. Arturo's collection consisted simply of a few precious pictures, books, and manuscripts on Black culture. Today, that collection has grown to include more than 5 million pieces, among them a tribute to literary genius Langston Hughes, art from African women, and a historical photo essay of Harlem. Most recently, the Schomburg acquired a rare find, the private diary entries of Malcolm X. The center serves as a celebration of Harlem's past, present, and future legends.
And now welcome my friend and colleague, co-host of BET's 106 in Park, AJ.
Good evening. Rap music is our modern poetry. Just like old Negro spirituals, it can act as a powerful catalyst for social and political change. Or it can just offer up a hot beat to dance to. When you think of its originators, you must think of Dougie Fresh. He is rap music's first superstar. It was in 1985 when Dougie Fresh first hit the scene calling himself the human beatbox. He was a rhythm machine and he still is. Please make some noise, y'all, for Dougie Fresh.